is Thursday, August 11th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle today, so we should be getting some sort of interesting, ambitious, or intricate theme. And this interesting, ambitious, or intricate edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Laura Sexton, Alex, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shillmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for directly supporting this channel and helping make this series a sustainable part of my daily work. I do very much appreciate it, so thank you to those benefactors. If you'd like to join their ranks and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/Daily Solve. And of course, there's a link in the description field underneath the video. And if you back the Patreon campaign at any level, you'll get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the Solve to date, as well as the new videos that go up each week, such as the weekly mini puzzle speed solve that goes up each Friday. And then I put other things up there as well of the weekend generally. And mentioning that in particular because I will probably be late with the mini puzzle speed solve tomorrow, although actually I'll probably be late with the crossword generally. So apologies if that goes up rather late in the day. I'm going to be arriving home tomorrow, and I don't know when I'll have the chance to record the crossword, but I'll do my best. So hopefully it is up in some sort of reasonable time frame. Anyway, speaking of that, it is late where I am, so I'm going to try and solve today's puzzle relatively quickly. We'll see if I can achieve it. It's a Thursday puzzle, so there could be something tricky about it that prevents me from achieving that goal, but who knows? We'll just have to try it and find out. On that note, this is, as stated, a Thursday crossword. It was constructed by David Tufts in his New York Times crossword debut, so we'll see what he has in store for us. It was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So without any further ado, let's start solving. The Congressional Black Caucus, for one. I assume this is a, it is, but I assume the definition they're looking for here is a block. So a group that votes often in a coordinated manner, as the Congressional Black Caucus sometimes does in the United States Congress. And M3, X3, and 3 series for 3. Those would be BMWs. BMW cars are, models are numerical in that sort of way, so that, I suspect, is the answer. Like some church matters. I wonder if this is laic, so, in other words, matters that would pertain to the laity as opposed to the clergy, lay members of a church. That's my guess in 4 letters beginning with an L, but let's check the crosses. Actor Damon, or what does that say? Bomer. Sorry, once again, my screen is small when I'm remote. Matt Damon, or Matt Bomer, I guess. I don't think I recognize Matt Bomer, but only need one of them for the answer to work. And of course, because it's an or clue, the answer is singular. So we're not saying Matts, because we're not referring to actor Damon and Bomer, only to either one of them singularly. A palindromic guy is Otto, and even if you didn't know the name Otto for some reason, you could still get this answer by just observing that the clue tells us it's a palindrome, so it must read the same in either direction, which means we can simply mirror our O and our T. This is strange. CTO. It's not that strange. Title monster in an H.P. Lovecraft story. So I've not actually ever... I think I did try and read a H.P. Lovecraft story once when I was young, and I found it impenetrable at the time. But anyway, Cthulhu is famously the, sort of eldritch horror godlike creature from H.P. Lovecraft. And here we have faultless, biblically, Spanish. What on earth is going on there? Faultless, biblically, Spanish. This is clearly the theme, but I don't really know what it wants from me. Faultless biblically. It's so interesting. Bane, scourge. You could say the bane of, my existence, the scourge of my existence, perhaps. And Frito Kahlo Creations. Interesting. I would have expected a clue that's plural like this to end in an S, but seemingly not, because this surely is scourge. So let's look elsewhere. Not written down, say. If something is not written down, it might be an oral folklore, for instance, as opposed to written folklore. Setting for part of Frankenstein would be lab, Dr. Frankenstein's lab. And a constant irritant could be a bugbear. Here we have one reaching across the aisle, perhaps. The bride is in the bride and groom in a marriage ceremony, wedding ceremony. That looks right. And member of the fam could be cis. We're being clued into the fact that we're looking for an abbreviated or contracted answer here, by fam being a contracted form of family. So here's cis for sister. And that's generally how these things are clued in the New York Times crossword. Final bid. I'm not sure. There's a question mark indicating some sort of pun or wordplay, but I'm not certain what that's looking for some reason. Pasta named for quills. Oh, penne. Right. That's funny. So, penne, yes. So, I actually never thought to think about what penne, the pasta shape, means, but it has those, it's tubes, but it's cut in an angled way as opposed to, say, rigatoni or something. And so it's sort of, it does look like quills. And so I suppose that's what penne means. I don't think yeah, it must essentially mean quills. That's really interesting, and it does make sense visually. Anyway, do not delay is ASAP, as soon as possible. Oh, final bid, adieu. I will bid you adieu. That's clever. So that's where the punning bit comes in. Final bid, we're made to think of a bid in an auction, but no, in this case, bidding farewell is what's being requested. And faultless biblically, without sin, Spanish. What is Spanish? I think my lack of Spanish knowledge is harming me here. And boot camp participant is an enrollee, someone who enrolls in, I don't know, the military or something, I suppose, that goes through boot camp. Although I guess you'd call that an enlistee, perhaps. Enrolling in, I don't know, something else that requires boot camp. Tab for a trip. Oh, it is enlistee. Sorry. That was a strange thing that I just did there. I said, well, why isn't it enlistee if it's in the military? And then I didn't think that would actually fit perfectly well, which is the answer. And the reason that occurred to me is because tab for a trip looks like LSD. So a tab of LSD could, you could embark on a psychedelic trip through that means. Oh, and here's another one of these. Substitute on TV, check. I just don't know. Although, I mean, this faultless biblically, without sin would mean faultless biblically. So, substitute on TV. A guest star? Drive. Cafe analog. A brasserie, I just thought that because of the double S's, but it doesn't really fit. Don't know. Bush nominated Supreme Court Justice. Why can't I bring this to mind? This doesn't look right. Romeo and Juliet. Ending with EA is very surprising. Is guest star wrong somehow? Substitute on TV. Guest role? Guest... I don't know. Guest star might be incorrect. Guest almost certainly seems correct based on the GUEST. What about this? Map detail inset, an inset map. Does that help? Guest host on television? Romeo and Juliet. Teens? Probably not. Oh, Alito is the Bush-nominated Supreme Court justice. Okay, I thought that looked strange. Couldn't think of any Supreme Court justices with a double T at the end. Now, what about this? One-time rival of Activision, Atari, a video game publisher, as is Activision. And fruit with a rind could be a melon. Backs out unexpectedly, quits. That seems a little bit... Doesn't need to be unexpected necessarily, so that's probably not correct. Drive. And cafe analog. What is that? Cafe analog. A tea shop. There we go. So cafe, in this case, meaning somewhere where you have coffee as compared to a tea shop, somewhere where you have tea. Oh, so Romeo and Juliet are roles. Okay, straightforwardly enough, they're roles in a play. And backs out unexpectedly, bails. There we go. That's what you would say if you back out unexpectedly. You're bailing. And then drive is ambition. There we go. Roman god, Dio. So that's not referring to a particular god, as you might think, but just Dio meaning God there. And then, does that help? Sorry, so I'm looking back at this guest host. Guest host. I mean, I don't know why I'm expecting to get anything from Czech. I don't know this. I don't think I know any Czech words. Okay, competitor with variable skills. Question mark again. Oh, mathlete. Right, someone who participates in sort of mathematics competitions, I suppose that is. And then allude to is to get at something. You allude to it, you get at it, you imply it. Procedure of quattro or chic. Is it trace? 3? That must be the answer. And 3PO's companion from Star Wars is R2-D2, the 2 droids in Star Wars. And filming locale for the beach in Lost. I'm wondering if it's Oahu, which has actually come up in the puzzle a few times recently. It's one of the islands of Hawaii, and I wouldn't be surprised if it were used as a filming location for a show set on an island, as Lost is. Here we have bon mot, which is, literally means good word in French, but also refers to a sort of a witticism or something pithy or clever. And I suspect that is a nod to the puzzle's theme. Oops. Seem to be losing light in this room. So, does sin mean without in Spanish? I really wish I knew more Spanish than I did, which is almost none at all. That, I suspect, is what's going on here. So faultless, biblically, without sin. So I think what's going on with this theme, probably, is we have words here which mean, one means the other. So we have an English word and then a Spanish word which has an unrelated meaning in English. And the English phrase is defined by the clue given in the puzzle. I'm explaining this in the most tortured, roundabout way that is not in any way useful. Sorry, I'm sort of just thinking it through as I'm saying it. I think all that's going on here, I say all that's going on, I don't mean it in a demeaning way, but I think what's happening is that without means sin in Spanish, And similarly, host, which I'm sure is pronounced in a different way in Czech, probably means guest in Czech. And then we're getting that from the definition substitute on TV, or in this case, faultless biblically. I suspect that's what's going on. I also suspect I'm not going to be able to myself confirm any of these things because I probably won't speak any of the languages in question. But let's just go and see. It's very clever if that's in fact what's going on. Pick for a pendant. An opal, you could have a gemstone set in a piece of jewelry in a pendant. Refreshment suffixes could be aids, as in lemonade or limeade. Pre-Euro money could be Italian lira, perhaps. And C37 across. Oh, and that point's right. So with 40 across, what's fatefully cast in a quote attributed to Julius Caesar? Oh, German. Oh, right. Here's another one of these, but this one is split across two answers. So the die is cast. Caesar famously said, and then yes. So right. Here's one I can recognize anyway. So the die, and that we have the definite article, singular definite article. In English, although I guess in English they're all they're all singular. Anyway, and then, or it is singular and plural, I guess is more accurately what I meant to say. And then anyway, D, its equivalent in German, the D, and then that's it. These words. This is a translation of the other in the relevant language. So there we have it. Boy, sorry, it is late, and I feel as though I'm being extremely inarticulate as I'm trying to communicate these things. Bakery container, Spanish. A bread pan. There we go. Okay, here's one that looks more familiar to me. So, pan, which I'm sure, again, I'm pronouncing poorly, would mean bread in Spanish. And so a bread pan, a bakery container. So that is certainly what's going on with this theme. I think between these Spanish ones and this German one, that is clear enough. And then some size are Oz. One of the Huxtable kids on 1980s to 90s TV. This was the Cosby Show, and Theo was one of the children on that show. Single numbers. Question mark. So does it mean single as an individual, or single as in a song? A hit single, that sort of thing? I'm not sure. Single, there's a question mark, which is why I'm wondering about these other meanings, because some sort of pun will be involved. Targets for Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Targets. I'm not sure what it means by targets exactly. It means Senate seats? I'm not sure exactly what it means here. Let's keep looking. Get right on it. And hypothetical entities for shorts. ETs, extraterrestrials. Hypothetical beings. Doing the pigeon dancer on Sesame Street. I don't particularly recognize this, but it must be Bert, who, I mean, I recognize that character, certainly. Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. And then 6 + 6 is what? Not sure. Here we have signs of good health in puppies. I don't know. Wet noses? Oh, Lyra with an E. Okay. Wet noses. There we go. Okay. Irish actor Chris. Oh, Chris O'Dowd. It's an Irish actor who I've seen in a number of things over the years, a number of TV shows. Classic TV kid whose name sounds like two letters of the alphabet. Opie, played by Ron Howard. I think Opie came up in the crossword just the other day as well. Seems to be a fairly frequent crossword guest. And adherent of a philosophy of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. That would be a Stoic, and adherent of Stoicism. And then get right on it. Act fast, you could say. Boy, I wear contact lenses, and they're starting to dry out at this hour, which is Not good. Let's see if I can pick up the pace here. Phony document. Phony document. A fax, maybe? A document you would literally send over a phone line via a fax machine. Something that I would imagine barely exists anymore at this point. 6 plus 6, right. What is that? Oh, boxcars? Is that possibly a name for rolling 2 6s on 2 standard six-sided dice? I bet it is. I think I've heard that before, and it just seems like what it might be called. So I think that's probably the answer. Part of NAACP, national would be the N. It's always useful when you get these abbreviations and you already have the first letter because, I suppose unless there's more than one word that shares a starting letter, you can infer fairly quickly what it is if you happen to know what the acronym or what the initialism is. Baked Scottish snack, an oat cake. And on is at it, maybe? I'm not sure. Low-carb kind of diet. The keto diet is, I think, an extremely aggressively low-carb diet. Replace IE with EG. EG. That's funny. To edit, I suppose? To edit a document in which you make that change? Is it as simple as that? English, that was a strange way to read this. I must be tired. Indian food cooked on a tawa, roti, is a flatbread. So that must be the cooking implement on which you cook it. And then here we have a blotch is a spot, on is a top, right? So something is physically and literally atop something. Oh, here's our revealer. Like the second word in 17, 24, 37 and 40, 38, and 50 across, vis-a-vis, the first word translated. There we go. So that is indeed the theme of today's puzzle. And let's see if we can finish it off. So what's up here? Single numbers, right? Does it have an S at the end? Targets? I'm still not sure what that is. Attribute aptly hidden in We're Gods. Ego. So the word ego is literally spelled out inside the phrase We're Gods. There you go. And I suppose the phrase We're Gods has a suggestion of egotism about it. So that is why it is apt. Highball, ? An orb? A planet? Maybe a sort of celestial body? A star or a planet? Not sure if that's what that's getting at, but it might be. Oh, outspoken agitator in Dutch. So we're looking for a phrase meaning outspoken agitator whose first word is an English translation of the second word, but I don't know what it is. Awe-inducing. Adorable, maybe? Yes, it does. It does fit. Not just beliefs. Faith, perhaps? It's beyond belief, it's faith. I'm not sure if that's what that wants, but it might be. Outspoken agitator. What is a phrase for an outspoken agitator? I'm not sure. The Ingalls family's Little House on the Prairie, e.g. This is Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote Little House on the Prairie and other books. Hold on one moment. Sorry, I felt a cough coming on, and I had the presence of mind at least to mute the microphone before that happened. Anyway, so let's see. What was the Little House on the Prairie? It was I think it was sort of dug into the ground, sort of. What's that called? Not sure. What about this? Believe. And here we have record numbers. The reason I'm pronouncing it that way, as opposed to saying record numbers, which is ordinarily how you would, is that there is a question mark indicating some kind of pun or wordplay, and I suspect this means numbers dealing with a record as opposed to something like that. So they could be simply songs. I'm starting to think faith is incorrect because nothing seems to build off of it usefully. Is the Little House on the Prairie simply a cabin? I really thought it was sort of dug into a hillside or something. Maybe it's still a cabin, even in that context, not just beliefs. Oh, the light on this desk has turned back on. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, not just beliefs. Dogma, or I don't know. Well, maybe it's not referring to strength of belief. Maybe it's referring to counter to belief, or not counter, but sort of category difference. So facts, maybe. They're not just beliefs; they're facts. That makes more sense. That's better than what I was putting in. Outspoken agitator, Dutch. Oh, that's funny. It still starts with F. Not helpful because I don't think I know what the outspoken agitator is. So if this is a cabin, then it shares a 44-mile border with Canada. Okay, that's a very short border, so it's probably Idaho, which has that it sort of tapers to, the U.S. state of Idaho tapers to a point at the border with Canada, so that's probably it. Bat Boy. Oh, Robin? Batman's, I guess, teenage companion crime fighter character. Is Robin a teenager? I actually don't really know. Seems like maybe he's in his 20s. I don't know. How old is Robin? If you believe something, you think it. Record numbers are songs, after all. Okay. And then rude looks could be leering, maybe? Oh, outspoken agitator. A firebrand. Oh, okay. So brand must be Dutch for fire. Okay, that's interesting. And, targets for Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, big banks. That makes sense. And then, so in other words, targets meaning targets for intended financial regulation. And then single numbers are, right, okay. So it was songs in a way, but in the way that this literally was, but solely, so the plural of solo. So a single number meaning something performed by a single person. In this case, I suppose, a singer. Oh, I guess it doesn't need to be. Anyway, solely, the plural of solo. And make adjustments to something is alter it. Audacity is the nerve. You had the nerve, you had the audacity. Not streamed, say, is on TV, maybe? Not on a streaming service? Oh, no, maybe not. On CD, perhaps? Music is not streamed, it's on CD, because give the boot would be evict. And Comic Chris of SNL. I don't know. Backing could be aid. You give someone your aid, you give them your backing. So I guess that means Chris Red. I don't recognize that name, but it was correct. Ooh. All right, and there we have it, the Thursday puzzle, with a very clever theme, a theme I think that was too clever for me. We have a sort of pentalingual puzzle or something like that. How many languages are in here? That light is off again. So, faultless biblically, without sin, our Spanish translation. Substitute on TV, our Czech translation of guest host. I'm sure most of these will be pronounced abysmally, so I apologize. What's fatefully cast, according to Caesar, the die is cast, our German translation. The bakery container, our Spanish translation of bread pan. And I think the final such clue, the outspoken agitator, our Dutch translation of firebrand. All of these are, of course, translated. There we go. An incredibly clever linguistic clue. Very well done by David Tufts. I wish I were multilingual enough to fully appreciate the theme of this puzzle. Very impressive. What, five different languages? Yes, it looks like it. So, well done. Enjoyed that. And I think a relatively approachable remainder of the puzzle outside of that theme. It didn't feel like it had a huge amount of resistance, although I would say it was tougher than yesterday's puzzle, which is how it goes. It's a Thursday puzzle. And I think I only had one correction from yesterday's puzzle to discuss today. It's a fairly slightly embarrassing, but that's fine. It was regarding Top Gun, which I mentioned, and to be fair to myself, I guess I did mention I'd only seen it recently, although to be unfair to myself, I guess the fact that I saw it recently means I probably shouldn't have made this error. As Ben Ward points out, it wasn't Goose who famously could be Maverick's wingman anytime, it was Iceman and Maverick who could be each other's wingman. So Iceman being the Val Kilmer character and Maverick the Tom Cruise character. I think I just think I read the clue, wasn't really thinking very hard about the code names? What do you call those names? Flight names? Boy, I'm really not acquitting myself well when it comes to this whole Top Gun thing. Anyway, it was Iceman and Maverick who could be each other's wingmen anytime. Goose, as Ben Ward points out, actually was, in fact, Maverick's wingman in the film, so didn't need to be told he could be his wingman anytime because he already was. So there we have it. Sorry about that. I'm sure many of you were rolling your eyes at my inept recollections of Top Gun the other day. So thank you to Ben Ward for putting me straight. And that's that for today's puzzle. I'll be back tomorrow, although I don't quite know when. I will do my best to get the Friday puzzle solved on video, but it will be late in the day, most likely. Hope you join me, though. It'll be the first of 2 themeless puzzles for the week, so join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.